Hello Flickering Myth family and all you horror fans out there. Welcome to our channel. Brace yourself though, because we have a bad movie battle. Today we are looking at two of the biggest horror releases of the year, and I think two of the worst movies of the year so far. So join us for our journey into some bad movies. We're going to figure out what's good, what's bad, and we're going to be talking about The Strangers Chapter 1 and Tarot. I do want to start this off by saying a bit of a warning, a bit of a heads up. I mean no disrespect to filmmakers and fans of these movies. I just did not like them, but I think there is redeeming qualities. I think there is some things other people can love, so that's what I'm gonna do in this video. I want to talk about these movies, compare, see which one is the worst of the year, but I'm truly doing it out of fun, out of jest, not to be insulting to anyone, not to be rude. Though one of these movies did anger me a bit more than I expected to. So yeah, I want to say horror films are fun to talk about, fun to dive into, the good, the bad. That's why we are such an awesome community of fans. I think the horror community is always great because one, they're usually open to criticism or they're very opinionated. So I think films like these are really fun because they start conversations. And also, horror's been in a pretty decent spot this year. We have films like The First Omen, Late Night with the Devil, some blasphemous movies that have made quite a splash this year. We also have movies that are not that great, but, you know, Imaginary, Night Swim, Blumhouse movies. And look, I haven't seen the shark movie on Netflix, but it's a French shark movie on Netflix. So what do we expect there? So I'm not doing this video to say horror movies are over, we're in a bad state, what the hell do we do? But I just want to figure out why these movies didn't work, why they didn't work for me specifically, and what they could have done better, what they could have done worse, and why did this happen? Like, these are two movies that I kind of expected to be a bit better than they were, but they turned out to be so rough, so weird, so not great. Yes, let's get into it. First up, we are talking about Tarot. If you were around in the early 2000s, you definitely know movies that are exactly like Tarot. These teen films that are filled with beautiful people getting killed off in somewhat bland PG-13 ways. I'm thinking of Fear.com, I'm thinking of Stay Alive, I'm thinking of all these kind of movies that I kind of liked in the 2000s, and I will say Tarot has a charm to it. It's not great, it's definitely on my bad movie battle for a reason, but there's something to this movie that felt comforting, that felt like a old school movie I would have watched at a sleepover with friends when I was like 12, 13. So for that way, Tarot could be serviceable, but for seasoned horror fans, my goodness, we have another bland PG-13 horror film that offers no real scares, no real thrills, no real suspense. We just see beautiful people getting killed off in bland ways. It just sucks that Tarot ended up being like this because, again, the premise is there. These cards, the designs of the cards, the designs of the creatures from the cards. My goodness, I thought all of that was compelling. I liked watching these people get killed off one by one in their mysterious ways, but they ended up being bland and unoriginal and uninspiring. And I'm not thinking Tarot was gonna break the mold. It wasn't supposed to be this revolutionary horror film, but Sony, I kind of expected a bit more. I expected me to be invested in these characters more. Even the Blumhouse PG-13 movies, think of like a Truth or Dare, think of things like Night Swim this year. So I think there's a way to get me to feel for these characters, to actually know who they are, but I could barely name a character. I could barely name an actor. I can't even name like plot points because the movie just kind of washes over you. Like, they all doing the little tarot card thing at the beginning where she's reading the things, you're like, well, that's going to go there, that's going to go there. Oh, now this person's dying in a weird circus kind of thing. Like, there's all these like weird pieces that come together that, again, I think are an overall decent experience, but it just falls into that, oh, it could have been better. It could have been worse, though. This movie could have had far worse character design. It could have had even blander characters. I'm looking at you, The Bye-Bye Man, a movie nobody remembers, but it's burned in my head as one of those PG-13 films that will truly stick with me as, wow, this could be worse. It could be The Bye-Bye Man. Tarot definitely hits that way, where I think this is a serviceable watch, especially for a younger audience. I do think horror fans get kind of stuck in a rut when they're like, this movie didn't scare me, and I'm like, you're a 35-year-old man with credit card debt. Baby, nothing's scaring you because real life is scary. So that's why I will say movies like Tarot I don't think are meant to scare a wide amount of horror fans. This is definitely meant for a younger audience, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. This is a fun return to 2000s horror films where they didn't need to be too serious, where they just needed to be fun, get you some kills, get you some things. That's why we love the slasher genre. Sure, in the 80s, the slashing was crazier and gorier and more impactful, but we've moved away from gore in some ways, though. If you've seen movies like Longlegs, which I've seen, you can see my review up here. My goodness, gore is back. Gore is definitely here. We can still shock people with blood, guts, but we need atmosphere. We need to care about characters. And I just think the Tarot script just truly wanted to make a bland film that could do really great on streaming, really good on video on demand, but wasn't really meant to be a big horror moment. And that's kind of what I don't know. I want all my horror films to feel like they're impactful, feel like they're actually, there's a reason for making them. And then we get to the next movie, and I truly don't know why they made that movie. As inoffensive as I found Tarot to be, I found Strangers to be the complete opposite. Strangers Chapter 1 is a frustrating, underwhelming, confused mess. This movie so bad wants to be the original Strangers, but it's adding a newer flair to it. It's adding some modern tech to it, and I'm like, but why? Like, I don't understand. And look, you know what really frustrates me here? The name Renny Harlin, a director I absolutely respect. Die Hard 2, Deep Blue Sea. This man knows how to make campy films work. He knows how to get you into the crazy universe you're in and make you feel comfortable. I did not care about Maya and what's his name? I have to look it up. Maya and Ryan. These two are honestly the worst characters I've seen in horror films in quite some time. I think the kids in Tarot are annoying, but they're like playing these kind of like teen-ish roles, which teens are annoying. I'm sorry to say if you're a teenager watching this video, but we're annoying as teenagers. But with Strangers Chapter 1, I can't forgive the stupid mistakes these people make, the incoherent decisions. Truly, my goodness, you have a shotgun pointed to a stranger and she's like, ha 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 ha, laughing at you. You don't shoot her? Shut the fuck up! Homegirl in Strangers Pray at Night shot the bitch. Like, do what you need to do in these movies. Oh my god. Just horrible character decisions. Someone asked me that in Longlegs. Is this a movie where people are making bad decisions just to make the plot advance? And I said, no, no, no. I think this movie is smart. If there's a bad decision made, there's a motivation behind it. My goodness, Strangers Chapter 1, when bad decisions are made, you want to scream at the screen. It's just so frustrating. What's also more frustrating is I think this movie wanted to homage the first Strangers, and spoiler, I don't think that movie is as thrilling as we all pretend it was. It is a atmospheric film, but the tension is truly relied on liking two very unlikable characters and having to watch these killers who have no personality do it. And I'm used to no personality killers. I come from the Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers day, but that's also an insult to them because they have a aura to them. These stranger killers do not have an aura unless you really give it to them. That's why I think Strangers Pray at Night is the true best Strangers movie. It's 80s inspired. It's neon. It's a little bit of blood, but it's a little bit of that tension, that scared. We're watching these two young people lose their parents and what they have to do to survive. Here, I'm just like, kill Maya, kill Ryan. I don't care. The moment they get into this town, you're just like, ugh, these people. And then I'm like, I don't know, let the people at the diner set them up to die. I don't care. That's the problem. With Tarot, I didn't love the characters, but I was just like, oh, they're gone. Oh, you know, that one girl from Mean Girls who's really beautiful. Oh, that one guy who's in the Spider-Man movies. Oh, no, they're gone. Here, I was just like, can I have more people to kill? Because these two people are not dying fast enough for me. That's where I don't want my horror movie. I shouldn't be rooting for the main characters to die, and I truly wanted them to go in the Strangers, and surprise, one of them lives, and now we have Strangers movies, two more to deal with, that they shot back to back, and we're going to have to unfold the madness of this movie. Maybe the potential second and third film could be much more entertaining, much more energetic, have a bit more life to them, because this was bland. It's stuck in between making a homage to the first film, but wanting to do something different, so it's just making a hodgepodge of ideas that don't really work, that feels ultra dated, and again, go back to that first Strangers movie. The Rotten Tomato score isn't high, and it hasn't aged that well. Pray at Night, I'm a Pray at Night stan. Here I am. If you're a fellow Strangers Pray at Night fan over the original Strangers, let me know down in the comments, because we exist. We're here. And God, my goodness, this movie was so frustrating, so annoying. That scene where it's all over Twitter now, where he is just like about to shoot one of the strangers, and I'm like, do it. Oh my god. Frustrating character decisions could absolutely kill a horror film, and that's what Strangers is filled with. Who is the winner of the bad movie battle? Well, I don't know. Strangers Chapter 1 is a much more frustrating experience, but it's a bit tighter, it's a bit more in and out. Tarot definitely tries to overstay its welcome. It tries to add a lot to it. It's doing a lot of a lot, but I almost appreciate it for trying, where I think Strangers, Rennie Harlan was truly just... It was just like running on fumes. It was just like, ghost ride the whip. You're doing nothing. You're giving me no personality, no life. At least Tarot felt like they were putting more oomph to it. Corporate, shilling of the Sony products, sure. But I would rather take me having a Sony logo thrown in my face over watching the redhead girl from Riverdale and a beautiful man deal with 3 annoying killers. I think Tarot is the better of the bad movies here. I cannot believe it, but that is my feelings. What did you guys think? If you've seen both of these horror films, did you think Tarot or Strangers Chapter 1 was worse? Which one did you think was better? Did you like both of these? Share your thoughts down in the comments below. I want to know. This year has been weird for horror. We have some good movies on the way. Longlegs, Maxine. There is some stuff in the future that is just there. We're almost to the promised land of horror films. We just had to get through the first 6 months of bland films. But what was your favorite horror film of the year? What was your least favorite? Was it one of these two? Share your thoughts. Comment down below. Subscribe to Flickering Myth. And make sure you guys share all your feelings and share these videos. My goodness, thank you guys so much. And let's talk about bad horror movies right down below.